Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to turn Python into your own personal super smart calculator. Seriously, we'll go from writing basic code to having a powerful math toolkit in just a few minutes. So, are you ready? Because by the end of this quick explainer, you're going to have the tools to make Python handle everything from simple addition to some surprisingly clever math tricks. All right, first up in our new toolkit is addition. And in Python, it's pretty much exactly what you'd think. Yep, no surprises here. The symbol is a simple plus sign. When Python sees this little guy between two numbers, it knows exactly what to do. It's time to add. So the fancy term for this is the addition operator, but really its job is super simple. Just find the sum of two numbers. Let's see how that looks in some actual code. Okay, now this is the most important part, so listen up. See that int function? When a user gives you input, Python just sees it as text, not a number. The int function is the crucial step that converts that text into an integer, a number we can actually do math with. Without it, the whole thing just doesn't work. Now that we've got that main idea down, subtraction and multiplication, they're a total piece of cake. They use the exact same logic we just saw. For subtraction, it's the standard minus sign, no brainer. But for multiplication, and you really got to remember this, we use the asterisk, not an X. In the coding world, the asterisk is multiplication. The process is exactly the same though. Get the numbers, convert them, and let Python do the math. All right, let's switch gears and talk about division. I like to call this our precision tool because it brings up a really, really important idea in programming. Not all numbers are whole numbers. So far, right, we've only been playing with integers. Nice, clean, whole numbers. But what happens when you divide, say, 10 by 4? You get 2.5. And that's not an integer. In programming, we call that a float, or a floating point number. And this is the perfect example of why we need a slightly different tool for division. See what changed here? Did you spot it? Instead of int, we're using float. This is basically you telling Python, hey, just a heads up, the number the user gives me, or even the answer to my math problem, it might have a decimal point, so be ready for that. Honestly, using float for division is just the safer way to go. It guarantees you get that perfectly precise answer every time. Okay, now for my absolute favorite operator. This one is like a secret weapon in your coding toolkit. It's the modulo operator. Now I know it looks like a percent sign, but trust me, what it does is completely different and so useful. Just think about this for a second. How would you tell if a number is even or odd? Like, how would you actually write code to figure that out? It seems simple, right? But the solution is super clever, and it uses our new secret weapon. So what does this thing do? The modulo operator gives you the remainder of a division. It couldn't care less about the answer. It only cares about what's left over. So for example, 10 divided by 3. Well, 3 goes into 10 3 times, right? And what's the remainder? It's 1. That's it. That's our answer. 10% 3 is just 1. So that's its official job description. The regular slash gives you the result, but the percent sign, our modulo, just gives you what's left over. And here is how this solves our little even or odd puzzle. What's the one thing all even numbers have in common? They can all be divided by 2 with 0 remainder, right? So if you take any number, do a modulo 2 on it, and the answer is 0, boom, you know for a fact that number is even. It's just such a simple, elegant way to solve that problem. Okay, we've gone through a bunch of cool operators, but not a single one of them will work if you forget this one golden rule. And it all comes down to understanding what Python is actually hearing when a user types something in. You have to burn this into your brain. Input always, and I mean always, gives you a string. That's just text. Even if the user types the number 50, Python just sees the character 5 and the character 0 next to each other. It has no idea it's a number you can do math on. That's why this conversion step is completely non-negotiable. You have to use int for whole numbers or float for decimals to turn that text into a real number Python can actually calculate with. And just like that, you have a complete foundational math toolkit for Python. Pretty cool, right? Let's just do a super quick review of everything we've learned. So we've got our basics, addition with a plus, subtraction with a minus, and multiplication using that all-important asterisk. Then we got into our precision tools, division with the forward slash, which can give us those decimal answers, and of course the super clever modulo operator for grabbing the remainder. But look, if there's only one single thing you remember from this whole explainer, please let it be this. This is the golden rule. Always convert your input. That's the key. That is what unlocks all of Python's power for doing math. And that's it. You've got the tools. You know the golden rule. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build first? Maybe a tip calculator? A program to convert miles to kilometers? The possibilities are totally up to you now. Thanks for joining me.